Well, good morning, Cam.
Good morning, Mitch. How are you?
Related to the first thing I want to talk about, which I just affectionately put into the show notes as the incident with no explanation. Um, it has not been the best, let's say, last 15 hours of my life. I
Okay.
got out of work last night
Oh no.
and um, hopped in the car. I bought, actually, first I stopped and I bought my. Jamie was complaining that she had an aloe plant that basically died. Um, it's on its last legs. I don't know that it's completely dead yet, but it's not going to make it. So I thought, oh, I'm going to be a nice husband and I'll buy her a new one. You know, where I work, we do have aloe plants, so I went and grabbed her a new one, and then there was these little Christmas tin catnip things that I could buy to grow catnip for my cats, which I thought was fun. And all our Christmas stuff is half off right now, so I'm down with that. So I
Uh-huh.
got it at a decent price, and it comes with a little mouse toy that's made to look like Rudolph, the red-nosed reindeer. So, which by the way, we put it under the tree, and within 10 minutes, he was picking at that mouse toy to try and get it out of the packaging. So, we pulled it out and gave it to him, and he had a blast with it already. So, but all that said, I was getting the on ramp by the store that I work at is a little bit sketchy. Like I've known this for a long time. You know, you deal with it. But
Hmm.
right at the top of the ramp, there was a semi that was stopped, and our local um, tow truck service slash car repair shop, all this, which is actually owned by some good friends of ours from church. So, this it's good to have it in with people like that. So, uh, and the tow truck was pulling up to take the semi, and I was coming up. All the traffic had slowed down from what I could see, and it had, for the most part. And so I got up onto the highway, and everything was good for about a second or so, and then I see that the tow truck is not quite all the way out of the road yet. So I started to brake, because I knew that I had to, otherwise I was going to run into him.
Hmm.
And the girl that was in the car behind me never
Oh
saw it, never
no.
slowed down. I don't know if she hit me at like 50 or 70 miles an hour, but she hit me.
Holy cow.
And sorry, I'm still like kind of in an emotional, a little bit of an emotional wreck about this yet. But um, through the magic of, or I suppose it looks like magic to us, of safety features in cars and all that kind of stuff now, we both walked away. So that's a huge blessing. I never got to meet her, which I really wanted to, because quite honestly, I just wanted to give her a hug and make sure she was okay, because I was a wreck, and I knew what I heard later is that when they were driving her back in the other tow truck, she didn't say a word. Like she grabbed a couple of things out of her car, and she just was holding onto those things, and like she was just almost having a mental break in the car over it. So I would have just loved like 2 minutes to just give her a hug and tell her it was okay. But um so my favorite car that I've ever owned, my orange Jeep Renegade, is sitting at an auto body shop on the north side of town, with the back end all busted up on it, and
Yep.
um, it could have been way worse than it was. Uh, I'm feeling okay. Like I got out of the car. The police, there was already a police officer on site, which was kind of a blessing. We didn't have to call
Oh,
anybody. We
because
didn't
the
have to
tow.
wait.
Yeah.
Yeah, because the tow truck was there dealing with this trailer. They saw the whole thing, him and the tow truck driver. The tow truck had dash cam footage of the whole thing. So we, as far as, I don't want to talk blame because I don't know I'm not sure that I want anything officially on record about this, but it's clear what happened and who was to fault, and so, and all the eyewitnesses agreed. So I'm okay. I'm okay with all that. So, but unfortunately, my beautiful Jeep is sitting in a wreck up at an auto body shop, and I'm not going to be surprised if it turns out that they're going to total it.
Yeah.
So mostly,
well, I'm glad that you guys are okay, you and her, because that's a lot of miles an hour, stopping really quick.
Well, I think because we were moving the same direction, that took a lot. That took a lot of the inertia and such, out of it. I was probably at about 40 to 50 miles an hour. So if she hit me at about 70, it's probably, I don't know how the math works exactly, but it would be like getting hit at like 20 or 30 miles an hour. So still significant. There's a split second that I blacked out, that I don't remember. She hit me, and then all of a sudden stuff was flying around there was stuff getting thrown around the cab of my car. But there was a split second in there that I don't remember, because when I started kind of getting my faculties back together, I was realizing that I must have hit my head on the back headrest pretty good. And thankfully it's soft, so it didn't do any damage, and my head's pretty hard. You can ask my wife. But what it did do is my head must have hit the headrest so hard, my stocking cap came off, like, and was in the back seat. And I don't know how that happens, but
that's not good, Mitch.
And my stocking cap was pretty well, it's one of those that kind of, sticks to your head pretty good. And it somehow it got pulled off my head and thrown into the back seat. And I didn't realize that it was like the state that I was in. I didn't realize that until after I'd gotten out of the car. Now understand, it's like 22 degrees out, so it's not warm. And so I got out of the car. I talked to the police officer. He kind of, "Are you okay?" And yeah, I'm, as far as I can tell right now, I'm fine. I was shaken up. I was just shaking all over because just of adrenaline and everything. And he was like, "Cool. Why don't you go wait in the car? We'll get this all sorted." He took my driver's license and filed his reports and everything. And I got and sat back down in the car, and the car was warm. And because of the safety features in my car, it basically shut everything off.
Yep.
So I'm sitting in the car, and it's starting to get colder and colder. And that's when I realized I didn't have my stocking cap on. And so now I'm like, where did I put that? Did I take that off before I got on the highway? I couldn't remember. So I'm digging around the car, finally got my phone out and got my flashlight out, looking around, and found it in the back seat, turned inside out. So, yeah, so whatever happened, it jarred that off my head.
Yeah, that's not good.
But as far as I'm at today, I haven't prayed this much in a while, and I'm not, it's not like one of those things that I don't pray ever. I've just been almost in a constant, like, prayer since then, whether it was about me, about how I was feeling, or about the girl that hit me. And it was just, it's one of those experiences you never hope happens, but everything that's happened since then has been a blessing, really. And it's weird to say that in hindsight, but like it's been an incredible blessing to just have that. Like I laid on the couch last night when I got home, and I was telling my wife about everything, and it's not hyperbole or anything to say, exaggeration to say that I just felt wrapped in God's arms. I really didn't stop with the tears from the minute I got home until the minute until probably when I went to bed. It was just off and on, just
Mm-hmm.
very emotional. And there's a part at which, normally I would come home and I would turn on the TV and watch TV. And it's like, I just couldn't turn on the TV because I was like, God, I don't want this to be over. I don't want to walk away from this because I'm being
Mm-hmm.
so blessed by how you're taking care of me and you're holding me in this moment. And apologize. I don't usually get this personal on the show or this vulnerable, but it was an incredible. Like I sat on the couch last night and I looked at my wife and I was like, I'm so glad this happened. Like I don't know how else I would have ever experienced what I've experienced since all this happened. And now this morning I woke up and I'm like, gotta like deal with the adult stuff about it. But so I'm not as thankful, but it was really cool last night, just in the wake of everything, to just know that he's got it all. Like he's taking care of everything. It's good. So I'll leave it at that. We've got tech to talk about today, but it was good.
Well, I can personally attest that dealing with the adult stuff after another car has hit yours is not fun.
Yeah. But one thing that's really helped is, last night already, apparently it was kind of against their protocol, but because I know people, like I said earlier, they got me a loaner vehicle. They took care of me. I mean, the loaner vehicle is like a 10-year-old Chevy Malibu, but it is what it is. So
Got
it's
four wheels
it's
and
getting
an
me
engine
around town. So
yep.
One of the sensors for the seatbelt isn't working. So about every 5-10 minutes it dings and reminds me to put my seatbelt on. But I can live with that for the time being. And probably Monday or Tuesday I'll run over to the dealership where we drop the car off and get a rental, and that should all be covered by my insurance. So, but it's been a rough about 15 hours. So
yeah, I'm glad you're okay though.
yeah, me too. One of the things I was thanking God for last night was that my wife didn't get a phone call. So
yeah,
either your husband's in a coma in the hospital or your husband's not with us anymore.
Mm-hmm.
But
yikes.
So it was good. Could have been way, way, way worse. Honestly, it was a little slick on the roads last night, and I could have been hit, lost control of the car, spun out into the next lane, got hit by a semi. I mean, there's so many different scenarios that could have happened that didn't happen.
Yeah.
So that's good. All right. I made a mistake when I was talking about Good Task a couple weeks ago.
Oh, really?
So yeah. I was sharing my experience with Good Task, and by the way, still loving it. It works really great. I like the way it works. I don't know if you've had some time to use it.
I tried it for like 10 minutes and I was like, I remembered all the reasons I didn't like it.
Okay.
It's for me, the UI is and I know that you can like pare it down, but there's just so much.
Yeah. That's fair.
And I was like, reminders is already pretty pared down. I will say this though. The quick actions in Good Task where you can like just bump a task like, to tomorrow or 3 days, like that in reminders, if you want to move a task, you have today, tomorrow, this weekend. And oftentimes I want to move it 2 days. And that means I don't have a quick action. I have to go into the calendar and then click on it. I'm like, this might be worth getting Good Task to a point where I like it. But I haven't been annoyed enough to try and pare Good Task down to what I want it to be. But I'm glad that you like it, and I realize I've totally just stolen control of your topic. So here, have it back.
Fine. No, that's all right. Now forgive me, my brain's running a little slow today. What I've liked about Good Task is that you have the customizability that I haven't figured out how to get in reminders. So it's been good for me to have, you know, a today view, which I'm not sure that that's available in reminders. I haven't played around with it.
It is.
Is it? Okay.
Mhm.
But it's given me the ability to do a lot more with the reminders and be able to use reminders as the back end. See, the other thing that I was looking at with reminders was looking at the iCloud.com version of it, and that's garbage. You can't do anything really. When I go into, you have to go into your project. So you go into, or your list. So you go into work, or I go into work, and nothing's really in any kind of order. And so it was just, the web interface for reminders is kind of worthless to me. Not to say that I get a web interface with Good Task, um, but I was playing around with that this last week. Now adding tasks and stuff like that isn't so bad. I did discover that if you do put times and days and all that kind of stuff, it converts all that into the into schedules and such. And it was really cool to be able to walk around work the other day, and I had like 3 big projects I needed to get done, and I was able to just use Siri to create the tasks that I needed to get done with about a time that I wanted to get them done, and that worked beautifully. So it was very cool.
Yeah, I'll be honest with you though. I totally forgot iCloud.com even existed.
Mm-hmm.
Like completely forgot about that.
I used to go to that at work, and it was blocked at work. So we couldn't get to it because they considered a file sharing site. But recently they unblocked it, so now we can get to it and use it.
I used to, now that I'm remembering iCloud.com, I used to, when I worked at the bank, which was years ago, I used to use iCloud.com for reminders for my to-dos at work during the day, because those computers were so stripped down. I mean, they were there simply to run the banking software,
Mm-hmm.
you know, and me being the nerd that I was like, I'm not going to use, you know, whatever like text edit or like, you know, the basic notepad app on Windows is for my to-do list. And then that's how I initially then discovered Todoist as well, because their web interface was so much better.
That is the one thing that I miss about Todoist, I have to admit.
Yeah, I mean the web app is I think on par with the native apps in all of its feature sets. But man, yeah, that's just taking me down memory lane to a lot of a lot of stuff I don't want to remember.
That's
Working
fair.
at the bank. Ugh,
Mm-hmm.
gosh, don't miss that.
Well, you're telling me, man. Working at my job hasn't been a. Well, I shouldn't say that. God has been giving me the ability to be content with it, and He's brought me a couple of people so far to share the gospel with. So it's been good.
Right on, man.
Mm-hmm.
Good on you.
Well, I've had an existential crisis this last week.
That wasn't the car accident?
Well, I mean, the car accident was a thing, but this was prior to that. So I would say we should get into our first topic.
Okay.
All right. How you feeling about Twitter, man?
So here's my quick take is I have not been active on Twitter in 2 or 3 years. Like I honestly think I've tweeted maybe 4 times in the last 2 or 3 years. So all of the stuff that's going down with Twitter, I feel like I'm watching as a complete outsider with no emotional attachment, no business attachment, no like friend, like I am so outside of the Twitter sphere that I'm just kind of watching it like what's a good like I hate to use this example because of what happened to you last night, but like driving by a car accident and wondering like, are they okay? How did that happen? You know,
Yeah.
like completely like just outside of the whole thing. So some of it makes me laugh, some of it makes me cringe, and some of it makes me go, wow, I made a really good choice a couple years ago and I just said screw this place. I'm out of here. So that's how I'm viewing all of this. It's
Yeah.
very much like popcorn in hand, like just kind of watching it burn down.
So this last week, I have been very patient with Elon Musk's. I don't know if there's a nice way to put it. Insanity. Uh, the amount of just things that people have been complaining about the way he's been running Twitter since he took it over. I kind of, okay, I'll stay on Twitter, we'll do our thing. And I've been toying with Mastodon since that seems to be like where a lot of the nerds are going that still want, social media. And so I thought, well, I got a Mastodon presence. I got my username, where I wanted it. So I have that saved at least, even if I don't use it at this point. But I thought, well, I'll give this a try and see what this is like. But there's a website called movetomast.com, I think it is. And how it works is that you put your Mastodon username, which is kind of goofy because it's at your username at the instance that you're on. So in my case, it's at Mitch Craig at mstdn.social. So, so I put that in my Twitter profile because the way Move to Mast works is it looks at, you can put in your Twitter username. It goes through and it looks at everybody you're following, and it looks through their profiles to see who's got a Mastodon username in their profile, and pulls those to find out, so you can see which friends you have are on Mastodon, and you can friend them right away. So that way you can bring your people with you. They just have to do the work of putting their Mastodon profile in there. So in this last week, Elon has banned people and started suspending accounts for putting Mastodon usernames in their profiles. He's been preaching all this free speech and everything, but he did two things this last week. One, any journalist that was talking smack about him, he suspended their accounts. He probably didn't personally, but he called to have their accounts suspended. And then he shut down Spaces. Their is it like video?
It's audio.
Is it audio?
Yeah.
He shut that down this last week because there was a bunch of people on there talking smack about him. So it's like, okay, now there's a child in charge of Twitter.
Uh-huh.
And he's just going to end up burning this thing to the ground, and I'm out. It's not providing anything to me anymore. I've been looking at different options for, I had to ask myself this last week, really what I'm getting out of Twitter that I'm going to miss. And I realized I get a lot of news stories. I get, this is where I see a lot of the blogs that I like, and sometimes it's, hey, there's a deal, on Amazon for this thing, or, or, hey, the new OSs are out, get ready to update or whatever. You start seeing that stuff on Twitter, and that's where it's useful for me. I don't use Twitter. I don't think anybody really uses Twitter to keep up with friends. That's kind of what Facebook's about. But, and Facebook comes with so much expectational debt that I'm not interested in that whatsoever. But I looked at it and I was like, yesterday, I said, you know what? I'm done. I deleted all my Twitter apps off of my phone and my iPad. I think the only thing I got left is Discord for social apps. just because I'm in the Relay Discord.
Mm-hmm.
And I started going into Reader and updating all my RSS feeds for the sites that I was following on Twitter. And I'm playing around with Squarespace again to start my own site again, to have an outlet for anything that I want to write. So those are the two things that I identified that I really wanted. I was really finding a value in Twitter, is it was giving me a place, an outlet to just kind of throw stuff into the universe as far as things that I was thinking and stuff like that. Even if nobody was reading them, it was something that I felt like, at least I'm kind of throwing these ideas out there and maybe they'll find somebody. And following the blogs and stuff like that, and people that I know in the tech industry that I respect and wanted to keep up with their opinions on stuff. So those are really the two things, and I can accomplish those through having my own blog and using an RSS reader for keeping up with everybody. And I am looking into, I think there's a couple of services that you can convert people's Twitter profiles into an RSS feed. And so I'm looking into that right now I want to see if I have a notifications list on Twitter, and I want to see if I can convert that into an RSS feed, because that's where all the people that I really care about on Twitter are for me. So yeah, there's got to be a way.
Yeah, well, until Twitter stops existing.
This is true.
So a couple thoughts. One, I think it's funny that, maybe funny is not the right word, that like blogs and RSS feeds are like coming back.
Yeah.
Right? Like it's like clothing. Everything that's out of fashion eventually comes back, right? Mm-hmm. And it's just like blogs and RSS is like the bedrock of the internet in so many ways, for how people communicated and stayed up to date with other people's stuff. And and then social media came around, and blogs still kind of hung around, and then podcasts became the new hotness, and then Twitter. But like, even that, like, blogs and RSS never went away. And there's been a resurgence in RSS apps and read it later apps, for blogs and newsletters. And I think Elon may be doing us a service by taking Twitter away.
Yeah,
because
I would agree.
Now you have the ability. I mean, we've always had the ability, but now with everyone, with the seeming mass exodus, right? And I think it may not be as big as we all think it is, because our corner of the internet's pretty small and very well communicated, and that being tech nerds.
It hasn't really been the tech haven that it was when it started anyway for a very long time. So I think this is not pushing us off right now is not a stretch, because I think a lot of people really have been just driving their businesses on it. So
yeah, and I think that we are the type of people that we're always going to be interested in blogs and RSS feeds and that sort of stuff. So I find that interesting. And secondarily, I need you to explain Mastodon to me. I don't know. You said you were a part of a Mastodon instance. I've heard people talk about it, and I don't understand.
Okay. So when you go to, if you download a Mastodon app, or if you go to something on the internet, I did it through the official Mastodon app on the App Store. The first thing that it asked you is, what instance do you want to join, and what an instance is. So Mastodon is a federated service. So what they have is, there's several instances. They have a back end called, is it Social Pub or something like that is an open standard for social. And actually sites like Tumblr and stuff like that are starting to build their back ends on this, so they're going to be part of this federation, which is pretty huge. But what Mastodon does is that you can start your own instance if you want to, There's a lot of technical debt that comes along with that, so you have to be ready for it. But there's also a lot of big instances out there that you can join. And no matter what instance the people that you want to follow, what instance they're on, you can follow them no matter what. So if, like John Syracuse and some of them that I like to follow on Twitter, they went to mastodon.social, that instance. Well, that instance got, they closed the instance for new members because they had pretty much maxed out what the servers could take. And so that's why I'm on, it's basically Mastodon without any vowels, mstdn dot social. So that's why I joined that instance, because that also had a lot of members on it, and it was very popular. So
Okay, so what's the point of having different instances if you can follow people regardless of which one they're on?
so the why they look at this as a thing is that you don't have one company that just shuts down. You have several different instances that if one instance decides to shut down, you can move to another one. And so it's much more, I want to use the word modular, or you, once there's no one Mastodon instance that if it shuts down, everything falls apart. So because it's federated like that, it's got a future, basically, as long as it gets the adoption. You're not going to have one, like, you're not going to have Elon Musk come in, and I mean, you could have Elon Musk come in and start a twitter.social instance of Mastodon, and nobody could sign up for it. Or if a bunch of people signed up for it and he hated it and he burned it down to the ground, it really doesn't take down Mastodon as a whole. It just
What if he buys Mastodon?
you
Shuts it down.
Mastodon's not owned by anybody.
Oh, this is like Bitcoin, but social.
Essentially, that's not untrue. It's not, Mastodon as a concept is not really owned by anybody. The instances are owned by specific people who run the servers.
Like, I mean, so is the software open source?
Yeah, I believe so. Yeah. So, I mean, you could sit down this afternoon and write yourself an instance if you wanted to, and you had the technical know-how to do it.
I'm good.
But like the Tapbots guys that make Tweetbot, they're working on one right now for Mastodon called Ivory. So that's a good name. But they have their own instance that they started for just their team. So it's closed. I believe it's closed to outside people. It's just for their team.
So, okay. So what is the advantage? Like, I understand the desire because it's open source, right? And people can start their own instances and no one can come in and just shut the whole thing down. That makes sense from, like a global view. Mm-hmm. What is the incentive to start your own instance? Because I know that Mac Story started their own.
I think, it's the C word that a lot of people on the internet don't like, and it's control. Because if I started my own instance today, I could set all the rules. I could say no swearing on my instance if I don't want any swearing. Like I can moderate that the way that I want to. And if nobody wants to join my instance, they don't have to. If they don't like the rules that I set.
So why not just do a Discord? Like, how is this different?
I don't know.
Because it just, I mean, I guess the difference is that, like, you can only talk with or interact with people that are on your Discord server. Like, I can't like, if we were on different Discord servers, I couldn't follow you on the other server.
Correct.
So, like, that's the main difference.
Yeah,
that I can see with
also when
having used Mastodon ever.
When it comes to Discord, most of the Discord servers that I've been on, I just find confusing because there's so much there. So, and because I can tend to be a little bit of a completist, I want to read everything, and it just
good
it's not,
luck with that.
Yeah, just not
especially
possible.
Like if you're on one that's as big as Relays.
Yeah,
like, not a chance.
I I should go through and count, but I bet you there's like 50 different rooms and the relay, or at least 30. And it's like, what do you go through and read? How do you keep up with any of that stuff?
Yeah, I don't know. Some people are so active. Like I'm on
Yeah.
the Mac Stories one, I'm on the Obsidian one, and I'm on the Reader, not the Readwise, their new Read It Later app. I'm in early access on that.
Hmm.
And so I'm in that Discord, and it's just like I can't keep up.
Hmm.
It's just so much. Interesting. All
Yeah.
right. Mastodon.
So if things work out the way that I want them to work out with the Squarespace site that I'm working on, MitchCraig.online may be redirecting to that. So, and I do still have my Twitter and Instagram links up on there, but I deleted Instagram as well. I'm giving it a try just to see if I can go totally no social media for a while and see how it works. So I do like Instagram though. I just hate that it's owned by Meta, Facebook, whatever.
Yeah, I just try not to think about that part.
Yeah, it breaks my brain. You had some time to play with Freeform,
A little bit.
the new app in iOS 16.2, and is it what is it, Mac OS 13.1? I think that's right. So I started one. Hey, hi to you too. But I started one in.
I like the crayon.
Yeah, the crayon is kind of fun. But what this is basically an infinite canvas. So I played around a little bit with this to. I can't. I'm waiting to see. Oh, Cam was here. Got it.
Classic bathroom graffiti tag.
Right.
WUZ was.
Yeah. But I was playing around with putting like rich links in here, photos, different things like that, and there's a lot here, and I'm interested. I haven't updated my iMac yet to the new Mac OS version to get it on that. But once I do that, I've considered playing around with the idea of our show notes being in freeform, but I think it would be a test that we'd probably do for a while. And my guess is we'd be back on numbers. But for the collaboration features, it's fun. Like I can see. I mean, it's not like as you write it, I can see you writing. Because like if you're watching it, like if I start drawing a circle here, it just like kind of shows up as you finish, writing. It doesn't. It doesn't. It's not like I can see you drawing. It's like once you lift the pencil or lift your finger, it updates the um it updates the canvas.
Nice. I'm just messing around with it right
Oh,
now.
added a lovely little picture.
Yes, the moonlight over the park.
Mm-hmm. So, I think it's got some. I think it has a place on Apple's platforms. I'm just not sure where it is yet. I have created a monster.
Sorry, I'm done. Okay, I'm done.
If you look at some of the stuff that they offer in here too, if you tap on what looks like the little images icon, it has a lot of interesting things. You can scan things. You can put a link in.
Dude, why is that? Why is okay?
The link seems a little bit odd to be under that, but
Yeah,
I think
because the image, the icon is the photos icon,
right.
and then you got photos, camera, scan. Okay, great, and then link or insert from.
Yeah,
Like, I don't understand.
I wonder if you can insert a file. I think that would probably be what that's for.
Let's find out. Insert from. Yeah, it goes to files.
Yeah. So there's a little A in a box there that is for like text boxes. You can put a text box in. The middle icon at the top is like a little circle with a square over the top of it. There's a ton of glyphs in here that you can use, that you can insert into your document. So, if I want to put, I don't know, put a shirt with some pants. Here we got some shirt and pants action. Apparently, he's got a little waist and a large torso, but you can throw different glyphs in and stuff like that are fun. Your sticky notes, and if you tap on any of these things, you can delete them. They have actions that pop up in the context menu. So, like your glyphs, you can actually type text into your glyphs. You can duplicate them. You can delete them. There's different things that you can do with those too, and of course you can write. So I have my iPad in front of me with my Apple Pencil, and I've been writing on here and drawing on here with a few different things. So yeah, I think it's a very clever app, but I think it's gonna take a little time to find its niche. So
yeah, and so what's interesting about this is that Obsidian is launching a new feature, a new plugin called Canvas.
yes, I've heard of this,
and I have yet to play with it. And it's not like you can't draw in it like you can here, but you can put like live website previews and live like that are scrollable and interactive, and same thing with your notes. And so it's an interesting way to, I think, the main way I've thought about it is like mind mapping and being able to like, okay, just connect things that aren't necessarily just text, like an actual note, an actual website, an actual picture, right? And Freeform does that. Like, what happens if I put a website in here? How does that work?
that's where you tap on link.
All right, we're gonna do,
and then you can it comes up as like a little rich text link, or a little rich link. If you remember from,
well,
I don't know where you're putting it here, so
the Squarespace logo. It doesn't even pull the website. It's not even a live preview. Come on, boys. Wow, I haven't added anything to my website in 5 months. That's sad. Anyways, but the drawing feature, that's what separates this from Obsidian, obviously.
mm-hmm.
And also, this is going to be on everyone's devices, whether they want it or not, like the U2 album.
Yeah, not like the U2 album. You can easily delete this if you don't want
That's
to. Did you know that? What podcast was it recently that was talking about that? But they were saying that they went to search for the link that gave them the directions to remove it, and apparently Apple has removed the functionality from the OSs to be able to do that. so that link is no longer good.
That's funny.
Yeah. So if you haven't deleted, is it Age of Innocence? I think is the name of the album.
Or Songs
You're stuck
of
with
Innocence, one of them.
Songs of Innocence something. I'm sure there's nothing innocent about it, but
they did that super weird, like ET finger touch. Bono and Tim Cook. It was so uncomfortable.
That was one of the saddest moments in Apple history. Because somehow they were selling this idea that when they touched their fingers, the app went out, or the album went out to everybody, and that's really really sad. Yeah.
How many years ago was that?
I don't know. That's a good question, though.
I'm going to look it up.
A good question that the internet, I'm sure, has the answer for.
Yeah. The 13th studio album by Irish rock band U2, released on September 9th, 2014. That was 8 years ago.
2014? It feels like it was longer ago than that.
And it was Songs of Innocence was I actually don't think I've ever listened to it, and I enjoy U2, but I think
Yeah.
I just didn't listen to it on purpose. Like I'm just boycotting this.
I never listened to it. I've only really ever been kind of a fleeting fan of U2. I never like they're okay, but I never felt too excited about that. Man, I got a picture of Bono on this one web page. And man, he's looking old.
Well, it's because he is.
Yeah.
Funny how that works out.
Did you?
My dad is a diehard U2 fan,
Yeah.
and so I just grew up with it on all the time. And I saw them live my freshman year of high school, and it was a great concert. It was so good.
This picture is sad. Oh man, I wish I could put this in freeform so you could see it. I don't know how much goofing off it would take to get this, but oh my goodness, this is why I love Apple devices. I just copied this on my iMac and I pasted it into the pasted it into freeform on my iPad, like within seconds. That's nuts. He is not looking good.
I mean, it's not a flattering picture.
Not really, no. Let's move on to what's delighting us this week. What's delighting you today, Cam?
Uh, boy, what's delighting me? I mean, the low hanging fruit answer is it's college football bowl season, and there's going to be a lot of fun football to watch. But I think I will just say that I'm just in a really good space right now. Heavy air quotes on the space because I
Yeah.
don't like that word, but people will know what I mean when I say that, right? I'm just
Mm-hmm.
life is good, work is going good, church is going good, personal relationships are going well, and it's it's a change in a lot of ways from what most of the last 3 years has been in regards to some of that stuff. So just, I'm just like happier, and it's nice to be happy.
Yeah.
Not like sad and lonely all the
Mm-hmm.
time. So I know that's not necessarily the most like tangible thing, but just it's nice waking up and being happy and being happy when I go to bed and having, things to look forward to. And, Christmas is coming, and that's always, exciting. Like we just had the children's ministry at our church last night had a family movie night and cookie decorating. So we came and hung out with a bunch of people at church and made cookies and watched the animated Grinch from a couple of years ago with Benedict Cumberbatch, which I will say, good movie. His Grinch voice, absolutely terrible. It was weird.
I
It
can
was like
imagine.
It was like an American Benedict Cumberbatch, and I was like, I do not like this.
No, I don't know if I've
Stop
seen that
talking,
one.
please. It's a good movie, but I'm sorry. Jim Carrey has made it canon that the Grinch has to have a Scottish adjacent accent. He's that grumpy. He has to be slightly Scottish. Like it's just
Yeah.
And growing up with Scottish grandparents, I can attest to the grumpiness.
Mm-hmm.
It's just cultural. Uh, so
It's an important part of their culture.
it is
I should say our culture because I think I've got Scottish in me too.
just, just malcontents,
Mm-hmm.
Uh,
The world
but
could always be better,
this is true.
and I'm going to tell you why.
Well, yeah, there's that as well. And we just hung out and we had popcorn and everyone was in the sanctuary and people brought were in their PJs and brought pillows and blankets and got all comfy on the and it was just a wonderful evening, So I'm just glad that I get to enjoy those types of things with people that I care about. Just makes life better. So I think that's what's delighting me.
Yeah.
How about you, sir?
I got a couple of things today. The biggest thing I think right now after my experience last night and stuff, while I was sitting on the side of the road waiting for everything to happen, for the tow truck to get there, to get everything moving along and such, I started texting my guy friends that I do a Bible study with on Tuesdays, or that I'm a part of a Bible study. And it is so good to have a band of brothers that you're in the trenches with all the time. And these guys are that for me. Right away I said, hey guys, I need some prayer. This is what's going on right now. I'm okay. The car's messed up, but I'm okay. And right away, every one of them in our group chat came back with, we're praying, hang in there, it's all right. And of course, after a little while, after I'd shared, some of the stuff that was going on, the fact that that these friends of ours from the church that own the tow truck company were the ones that were taking care of me, and all this stuff, my pastor of all people threw in a funny GIF of some kid on one of those little Power Wheels hitting ice and spinning out of control and flying everywhere. I think my comment to him was, I want to tell you you're a terrible person, but that put a smile on my face.
Yeah, a little comic relief is
so it was good
occasionally.
And we've got a Jamaican guy that's in that class with us, and it is so hilarious to watch his reaction to stuff, because he found that to be the funniest thing. He commented 15 minutes later, I have not stopped laughing at that GIF. He's such a joy to have in that Bible study. So, on a technical standpoint or a tech standpoint, I think just playing with Squarespace in the last day or so, since I decided to try building a new website and such, the new framework that they have, and I'm not sure what the version number is, but it's incredible. I wish I could switch the church website over to this, because it's so much easier to work with, and I could do a really good solid redesign of the church website. But it would just be too much to move over, because we've got hundreds of podcasts in our sermon feed and stuff like that, and I just don't have the time to move all of that over to another site, which is what it would require of me to do that. They don't have an updating tool. So I'm stuck on, hopefully at some point they will, but they don't right now. And it's that big of a difference. You literally, rather than, they still have kind of the block language where you can put in a block and then do, edit within that block. But instead of the way it used to work, where you had a block that was an image, and then you had a block that was a this or that, and you could move this one here, and then you could maybe move it up next to this one. And the new version, or the new software that they have on there, you add a section, and then you add your blocks within that section. And then you literally can take and drag and drop each of those, and you can overlap them. You can, it's just amazing. It's all on a grid. So you can just pull this over here and pull that over there and overlap stuff and make it look exactly the way you want it, all through drag and drop. and it's such a cool way that they've designed this. So,
yeah, I'm a big Squarespace fan.
100%. I was a little miffed at the fact that it looks like the prices are a little higher right now than I want them to be, but I know. Pro tip: what I've done in the past is that if you wait until the end of the trial, they offer you a lower price. I think the last couple of times I started a website within the first, I think it's a 14-day trial. And within the first week, they offer you the site for like $16 a month if you go for the annual plan. And by the end of the 14-day trial, they're offering it to you for like $8 a month.
What?
Yeah, I've gotten the sites for $96 a year.
Jeez.
Yeah. So I'm waiting to see if that's
and here
still a
I was
thing.
about to brag that some of my websites, that I have 3 websites that are on Squarespace, and like one of them's grandfathered in at $12 a month, and I was about to like brag about that. But $8?
Yep.
That's a third less than what I pay.
Yeah, my old site was $96 a year. The church website, if you ever,
I think I pay month to month. I'm an idiot. I should have been paying. I've had my website on Squarespace for like 6 years. And I'm paying month to month the entire time.
Yeah, so I was looking at that this morning. Now. It's right now it's $23 a month for the basic plan. If you do it monthly, if you do it annually, it's $16. It breaks down to $16 a month. So it's like a $7 difference a month.
Well, I'll have to check that pricing, because if I switch to annual, I wonder if they'll let me keep that 12. Or if they'll charge me the new price.
I mean, all you got to do is go in and look.
Yeah.
It's no obligation. They don't raise your price just because you're looking at it.
And we're gonna ruin your tax score or your credit score. There we go.
Yep.
Tax score. That's not a thing.
No. I will add one last thing in, and I don't know that I'm putting this officially into the Delighting Me section, but we are 17 days into the Lego Star Wars Advent Calendar, and this is one of the better ones that they've done. So I love it when they do the little ships. And they've got a bunch of them in this year's Advent Calendar, so it's delighting me quite a bit.
Nice.
Cool. All right. Well, if you've got nothing else to add, I've got nothing else, so we can get her wrapped up. If you are looking for more of us, you can check us out at innerdialogue.show. And, the Twitter thing is kind of up in the air, but you can check us out on our websites. Hopefully I'll have a website in the near future. If not, MitchCraig.online is still pointed at my bio site, so you can check that out there.
Site.
And Cam, where can we find you?
I'm going to steer people to brennanmedia.co this episode.
Oh, very nice. A little something different.
Take a look at my pictures and videos.
Very good.
If you'd like. If not, that's okay too.
Mm-hmm. I might even throw a link from my page to one of your pages one of these times. I don't know. We'll see. I want to go crazy, but but if the listenership was ever on my old Squarespace site, I'm not designing it all that different. But because of the new tools that I have, I'm able to incorporate different things into it and change the look a bit. So it's going to have a little bit of a fresh look, but it's a lot of the same stuff. So at least for now, we'll see. I'm hoping to do some writing on there too, even if it's a little, a link to a article and then just my thoughts on it, or something like that. That may be some of the posts, but I'm also thinking about maybe sharing some of my papers that I'm writing for school up there. Anything that might be worth reading. So we'll see. It's my corner of the internet. I can do whatever I want to.
This is true.
All right. Well, it has been fun. It's been a nice derision for me from having to think about my car. So thank you.
Welcome.
And would you ever consider like trying to nail down a show title before we wrap up the episode?
Yeah, but I haven't thought about it at all, so I don't know if I have a good one.
I don't know if I have a good one either. Usually, I come up with them when I'm doing the edit.
Trying to think. I don't remember. Yeah, I'll have to. If we're gonna do it going forward, then I'm gonna have to write down things as they get said.
Yeah, well, let's workshop that, and we'll.
Sounds good.
I have a suggestion. Cam
Okay.
was here.
Yep, done.
All right, good.
Done.
That's the show title.
Perfect.
All right. Well, it's been good, man. Have a good one.
See ya.
Later.